Hello, I'm Leon Hawthorne. You're watching Book Zone. My guest today sets his crime novels in his native Newcastle.
I'm Howard Linskey, and this is my book, The Dead, and you're watching Book Zone.
Howard, The Dead is the third in the series featuring the Geordie gangster David Blake. Tell us more about him.
David Blake's a bit of an anti-hero, really. He's a reluctant gangster, and his stories are set in the northeast of England. He's found himself trapped in a life, really, that he became embroiled in purely by accident. And now he's reached the stage in the third book in the series where he's just about the only man he trusts to run a crime firm in a ruthless world like the one he inhabits. He thinks he's about the only person who can keep himself out of prison, hospital or the cemetery.
So you've got a bent accountant, Serbian gangsters and the Russian oligarch. Are these characters ripped from the headlines?
Yes, some of them are actually. I mean, the Serbian mafia, I've read some articles about what they can be doing in their crime world. They're pretty ruthless people, to say the least. They seem to take it beyond the stages of normal traditional gangsters that we might have heard about in the East End or Glasgow or in Newcastle. The billionaire Russian oligarch, I actually finished the book the day before Boris Berezovsky was found hanged. He gets a mention in the book, along with some of the other oligarchs who are real. My guy's quite fictional, but he's based around the men who made their money in, well, kind of semi-legal ways at the end of the collapse of the Soviet Union.
The drop, the damage, and now the dead. Any danger that you'll run out of nouns beginning with the letter D?
Yeah, I did have that issue. We struggled with the third book. We fell short of actually calling it the Dyson, probably for trademark reasons as much as anything. In all seriousness, we went through all kinds of names for the third book, and the publisher and the distributors were keen to have a phrase that really mirrored the first two, but I kind of painted myself in a corner. I mean, the drop was meant to be a standalone novel, but I ended up with so many ideas, I ended up putting them in the damage. And The Dead is an appropriate title because it doesn't just feature people who end up dead in the book, but it's about the impact of people's deaths in the novel. It's a recurring theme, and that's why I settled on that title.
So how do you rate this book compared to those previous books?
Hopefully alongside them. It's a little bit hard to choose your favourite. It's a bit like trying to choose your favourite child, I should imagine, if you have 2 or 3 children. It is hopefully on a par with it, and it ties up a lot of loose ends. So some of the things that you hear about in The Drop and The Damage, in particular, references to David Blake's missing father, a guy who went missing a long, long time ago, do get resolved in the third book, and there are other areas in the first 2 books that get resolved as well. So I'm really proud of it. I think it's up there with the others, so hopefully people will like it just as much.
I hear The Drop has been optioned for TV, so are we going to see David Blake on our screens anytime soon?
I certainly hope so. I don't know about any time soon though, because television does seem to move at a very, very slow rate. We've got some extremely good people behind it though. The producer of the Harry Potter films has recruited the writer of Layer Cake, so that's not a bad start. And I know that they're having some fairly high-level meetings with TV people that are going on in the background. I try not to think about it too much because it might not ever happen, or it might take a very long time to come to fruition. But hopefully one day you will see David Blake prowling the streets of Newcastle on your television screens. Fingers crossed.
Howard, thank you very much indeed for joining me.
Thanks very much.